question that immediately springs to mind about Sunderland is Steve Bruce the new Harry Redknapp?
Well, he's certainly been the busiest in the transfer market. It's been incredible. It's as if he hasn't really noticed that nobody else seems to want to do any dealing in much of a hurry. But obviously they've got a reason for doing all their trading, which is that they're sitting on a nice pot of money through fantastic sales of Jordan Henderson and Darren Bent in the January transfer window of last year. I think that few people would argue that 20 million for Jordan Henderson is outstanding piece of business. Good prospect though he is. If you watched him in the England under-21s over the summer, he found it quite hard going. It was perhaps a good platform for him to show his new employers all his qualities, but I mean, it was notable that most of the forward passes he were turning into lost balls. So I think although he's obviously a player that Sunderland were proud of producing and that he contributed a lot last season and Bruce talked him up massively, I think that the money they've recouped is great, and what's fantastic for Sunderland, unlike a lot of clubs, is that they're able to spend the money that they gain from sales. There's a lot of clubs out there that if they're selling players, actually the managers are complaining that they're not actually seeing much of that money to reinvest and it's being siphoned off elsewhere. But Sunderland's owners have been fantastic in saying whatever comes in goes back out, and they've obviously spent on Connor Wickham in an attempt to fill some of the gaps probably still felt from Bent's departure. And it'll be interesting to see how he presses on, because he's a big winning lad with quality, but so far untested really at that level. And they've done the usual Steve Bruce trick of racking your brains to try and think, where on earth could I possibly go to get some players? And maybe Man United might be a good port of call. So O'Shea and Wes Brown coming in, good experienced players, and they've bought a little-known South Korean who, it's all up to him to show us what he can do. We don't know a lot about him yet. He did well in the Asian Cup. And I think Sunderland need to really make sure they have a bit more of a consistent season, because last year, notably, they were going very well and challenging for a European place round about Christmas time, and then they had their sort of traditional slump, which wasn't too costly, but it didn't really enable them to make a massive mark on the Premier League. So it'll be a case of whether they can be a bit more consistent.
Do you think they will be? Where do you see them finishing?
I think they'll be looking to be comfortably in the top half and as close as possible to the UEFA spots as they can reach.